12 recent archaeological discoveries. So shocking they terrified even the bravest scientists. Have you ever wondered what mysteries lie sleeping beneath layers of earth and stone, waiting thousands of years to be uncovered? In today's video, we'll explore 12 recent archaeological discoveries that not only shook the academic world, but also sent chills down the spines of even the bravest scientists. Strange sites, artifacts that defy all conventional explanation, and ancient tombs marked by mysterious rituals, all are slowly pulling back the veil on a dark and forgotten past. Not every mystery was meant to be solved. Some of them might make you question everything you thought you knew about human history, or give you goosebumps when you realize that maybe we've never truly understood the world we live in. So, what exactly has been unearthed? Why are these discoveries so controversial? And most importantly, do you have the courage to follow this journey to the very end? If your answer is yes, then join me as we begin our quest to uncover the secrets long buried by time, starting with the very first discovery, right now. The 5-year-old ghost bride in the ancient tomb reveals a 1,000-year-old royal secret. In April 2003, during an expansion project at a historic site, workers accidentally dug into what seemed like a bottomless pit. They immediately reported the discovery to archaeologists, who rushed to the scene to investigate. Beneath the soil, experts uncovered an ancient tomb dating back more than 1,300 years. The stone door of the tomb was marked with red tin powder, and the interior, made of baked clay, was divided into 2 chambers, left and right. The tomb floor was oddly uneven. The middle part was raised like a turtle's shell, while the sides curved downward like arcs. The coffin and burial goods were placed on the highest point to prevent flooding. The tomb's opulence was evident from nearly 300 cultural relics, most of which were made of gold, bronze, jade, and lacquerware. With such luxury, the tomb's owner must have been an important member of the royal family. However, as excavations went deeper, experts were stunned to find not a single large coffin as expected, but 3 very small ones. Though the bones inside were somewhat disordered, the remains clearly belonged to slender, small-bodied individuals. The largest coffin, which contained the most valuable burial items, was believed to belong to a 5-year-old child. Determined by the stage of tooth development, her permanent teeth had not yet fully erupted. The other 2 smaller wooden coffins contained the remains of 2 children under the age of 2. According to the Taiping Yulan, compiled between 977 and 987, 983, coating tomb doors or coffins with red tin was a form of royal display permitted only to emperors. Yet this tomb was located in the ancestral land of the Wang family, a prestigious clan with no imperial lineage, making the find highly unusual. Evidence showed that all 3 children were buried at the same time, raising unsettling questions. Why did they die around the same period? And why were they buried with such extravagant rituals when it was customary at the time for children to be simply placed in clay jars and buried in home gardens? The tomb's layout also puzzled researchers. It was clearly designed as a double burial tomb for a married couple, yet it contained 3 children. This led experts to a haunting hypothesis. Could these 3 children have been victims of an ancient ghost marriage ritual? According to the Book of Jin, in 317 AD, Sima Rui, 276 to 323, founder of the Eastern Jin dynasty, ascended the throne and granted his eldest son the title of Prince of Langya. Unfortunately, the young prince died the same year, before reaching 18. His nephew Sima Anguo was next in line to inherit the title, but the infant prince also succumbed to illness shortly after birth. By imperial custom, royal princes were to be buried in their fiefs, so the Langya estate was chosen as Sima Anguo's resting place instead of the capital, Nanjing. Not long after, the emperor's second son, Sima Chun, also fell ill. To bless the boy with fortune, his father granted him the same title, Prince of Langya. Tragically, on the very day of the title ceremony, Sima Chun's condition worsened, and he died before turning 2 years old. Thus, 2 princes who were meant to inherit the Langya title died in succession at just 2 to 3 years old. Experts believe that the 2 youngest coffins in the tomb match the ages and time frames of Sima Chun and Sima Anguo. After losing both sons and a grandson within months, Emperor Sima Rui reportedly ordered that an entire year's income from the Langya estate be used to construct a grand royal cemetery for the princes. He also arranged a ghost marriage for his deceased son. However, this practice was harshly criticized by court officials, forcing the emperor to bury both his son and grandson together in the same tomb. The ghost marriage custom, yin-hun, dating back over 3,000 years to the Zhou dynasty, involved marrying two deceased individuals, or in some cases, a living person to the dead. Though long outlawed, the eerie ritual persisted quietly among commoners. During the Eastern Jin period, 220 to 280 AD, only noble families such as the Wangs were considered worthy of marrying into the imperial line. Therefore, archaeologists believe the 5-year-old girl, buried with exquisite gold jewelry and precious ornaments, was likely the bride in this royal ghost marriage. Yet the mystery remains unsolved. Which of the two boys was the emperor's son? And was this little girl married off while alive or after death? That question, still unanswered after more than a millennium, continues to haunt historians and archaeologists to this day. The 110-pound silver bar and the $16 million treasure mystery of the infamous pirate William Kidd. This past May, the world was stunned when an expedition team led by marine archaeologist Barry Clifford discovered a massive 110-pound silver bar on the seabed off Sainte Marie Island, Madagascar. What made this discovery so extraordinary wasn't just the bar's material value, but its legendary origin. This piece of silver is believed to be part of the long-lost treasure of the notorious Scottish pirate William Kidd. For centuries, tales about Captain Kidd have fascinated treasure hunters worldwide. Yet only now has the first tangible evidence from his ship, the adventure galley forever tied to Kidd's dramatic life and death, finally been brought to the surface. The adventure galley sank in 1698, but it took more than 300 years for the first artifact linked to Kidd's fabled treasure to be found. William Kidd, born in 1645 in Scotland, originally served the British Crown as a privateer, tasked with hunting enemy vessels and pirates. But fate took a dark turn when Kidd captured the ship Quedagh Merchant, loaded with gold, silver, and fine silk from the east. That act branded him a pirate and murderer, leading to his arrest and extradition to London for trial. In 1701, William Kidd was sentenced to death and hanged, a gruesome execution in which the rope snapped 3 times before the sentence was carried out. His body was then dipped in tar and hung along the River Thames as a grim warning to anyone tempted by the pirate's path. Though he was executed, rumors of Kidd's vast stolen fortune, estimated at £12 million sterling, roughly $16 million today, continued to spread. Over generations, that treasure became a legend, a secret buried deep beneath the ocean, waiting to be rediscovered. The recovery of the silver bar from the wreck of the adventure galley was not merely an archaeological triumph. It might be the first real clue to the whereabouts of the rest of Kidd's missing fortune, lost for over 3 centuries. After being salvaged, the bar was brought ashore to Sainte Marie Island, where it is now under tight military guard. On May 7th, during a formal ceremony attended by the President of Madagascar and diplomats from the United Kingdom and the United States, the silver bar was officially handed over to the Malagasy government. At the event, British Ambassador Timothy Smart expressed his hope that this discovery would help raise Madagascar's profile on the world tourism map, turning the island nation into a captivating destination for explorers, archaeologists, and treasure seekers alike. From a thrilling pirate legend to a real-world revelation, the world is now witnessing the first tangible pieces of truth emerge from the depths of history. But the question remains, what else lies hidden beneath those deep ocean waters near the 110-pound silver bar that has just been raised? Could this be the key to one of the greatest lost treasures in human history? The quest to uncover William Kidd's legacy is far from over, and perhaps someday soon, the treasure he left behind will finally come to light, bringing the legend of the infamous pirate into the modern world. An 8,000-year-old mummy found in a strange position. For generations, people have been familiar with the image of ancient mummies from Egypt, the land of pharaohs and elaborate embalming rituals. However, a shocking archaeological discovery in 2022 completely challenged that notion. According to a report published by Live Science, researchers uncovered what may be the oldest known mummies in the world, not in Egypt, nor in Chile as many once believed, but right in Europe, within a remote area of southern Portugal. This discovery traces back to excavations that began in the 1960s in the Sado Valley, where archaeologists found more than a dozen ancient human skeletons. What stunned scientists was that at least one of these bodies showed clear evidence of mummification. This wasn't a simple burial. The process appeared to have been carried out intentionally to preserve the body and make transportation easier before burial. Archaeologists believe the bodies had been bound tightly and dried using fire or heat for several weeks, reducing their weight and making them easier to carry. When studying the skeletal remains, scientists made a surprising observation. The bodies showed no signs of soft tissue decay, suggesting they had been carefully mummified. Some skeletons even displayed signs of hyperflexion, meaning the limbs had been bent beyond their natural limits, a clue that the corpses had been tightly bound after death. In addition, the foot bones, which typically separate easily during decomposition, were still intact and connected, a strong indicator that the bodies had not decayed naturally. These findings are especially important because they reveal that an ancient civilization in Europe had already developed mummification techniques over 8,000 years ago, completely reshaping our understanding of the history of embalming. Until now, it was widely believed that such advanced preservation practices originated only in ancient Egypt or the Atacama Desert region of Chile. But the results from Portugal show that mummification was not exclusive to arid desert cultures. It existed in Europe far earlier than previously imagined. This discovery forces us to rethink the evolution of early civilizations. Mummification wasn't merely a religious or spiritual practice, it was a remarkable demonstration of intelligence, adaptation, and innovation. Our ancestors had already developed sophisticated ways to protect the human body against the ravages of time. So, what do you think? Doesn't this discovery highlight just how crucial archaeological research is, helping us uncover the past, understand lost civilizations, and reveal the mysteries that time tried to bury forever? The ancient ship unearthed beneath the ground in China. On September 7, 2019, Heizei City in Shandong Province, China, was hit by a massive rainstorm. The central area of Heizei suffered the most severe damage from the torrential downpour. At that time, a new public construction project had just begun in the area. Because of the heavy rain, large amounts of soil, sand, and construction materials were washed away. While digging and clearing the site, construction workers discovered several pieces of blue and white porcelain buried beneath their feet. Immediately, one of them reported the discovery to the site manager. Upon inspection, the manager realized these were no ordinary ceramic fragments. He quickly called the police. While waiting for the authorities to arrive, the workers unearthed a relatively intact porcelain vase. When the police officer on scene saw the vase, he immediately ordered the entire site to be sealed off. At the same time, they contacted the local Cultural Heritage Preservation Department to investigate. At first, when hearing that an ancient ceramic vessel had been uncovered, officials assumed it might be part of a buried tomb. However, once the cultural heritage experts began their examination, they noticed signs suggesting otherwise. Instead of a tomb, specialists believed it might be the remains of an ancient cargo ship that had sunk and become buried over time. As the excavation went deeper, traces of the ship gradually emerged. Archaeologists then began cleaning the exposed portions of the vessel. They concluded that it was likely a wooden inland cargo ship. The entire left side of the hull was missing, while the bottom of the ship remained mostly intact. The vessel lay tilted at a 50-degree angle, leading experts to suspect that it sank after colliding with something underwater. This was an extraordinarily rare shipwreck discovery. To protect the structure of the hull and the artifacts inside from damage, the Cultural Relics Department invited two of the region's most skilled traditional shipwrights to assist with the preservation process. In fact, bringing these two master craftsmen to the site was no simple task. Both came from families with a shipbuilding tradition dating back to the Ming Dynasty. Even at that time, these two veteran craftsmen still possessed ancient ship models that had been passed down through generations for centuries. When they heard about the discovery of a sunken ancient ship, they did not hesitate to accept the invitation. Their mission was to analyze the ship's overall structure and determine the function of each cabin. This helped archaeologists identify the ship's weakest points and the most difficult areas to clean, ensuring the excavation proceeded smoothly. Both the archaeologists and the two master shipbuilders agreed that discovering an ancient shipwreck buried underground was incredibly rare, especially one of such a large size, stretching up to about 164 feet in length. During the excavation and cleaning process, the local Cultural Heritage Bureau uncovered numerous ancient coins. Based on these findings, along with the ship's design features, experts concluded that it dated back to the Yuan dynasty, 1271 to 1368. They confirmed that the ship held immense archaeological and economic value. More than 120 well-preserved artifacts were found inside the vessel, all believed to be Yuan dynasty porcelain, highly valuable blue and white ceramics. Despite being buried underground for centuries, the intricate patterns and designs on the porcelain remained remarkably vivid. In 2005, the Goston Auction House in London sold a Yuan dynasty blue and white porcelain vase to an anonymous buyer for approximately $608 million USD. After that sale, collectors around the world began frantically searching for Yuan blue and white porcelain items. The reason Yuan dynasty blue and white porcelain is so prized is that its craftsmanship cannot be replicated. This fact alone demonstrates how incredibly valuable this ship is, with over 120 authentic artifacts from the Yuan period found on board. After years of study, archaeologists finally determined the probable cause of the shipwreck. They believe that strong river currents may have forced the vessel off its original course, causing an accident that led to its sinking. Once the excavation and restoration were completed, the ancient ship was displayed at the Hees Museum. Many shipbuilders and craftsmen have since visited the site to admire and study Yuan-era shipbuilding techniques. Although the vessel's overall design is not as refined as modern ships, its construction methods and joinery techniques continue to astonish and humble today's master shipwrights. A 700-year-old lead coffin containing a body that looks newly dead. During the reconstruction of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, after the devastating 2019 fire that severely damaged the roof of the 850-year-old landmark, scientists uncovered a hidden chapter of history buried beneath the cathedral floor. Among the discoveries was a lead coffin believed to date back to the 14th century. According to France's Ministry of Culture, the excavation revealed several burial sites of notable scientific significance, including ancient tombs and a human-shaped lead coffin. The burial layers where these finds were located lay beneath 18th-century stone flooring, while some of the deeper layers dated back to the 14th and even early 13th centuries. The most remarkable of these discoveries was the human-shaped lead sarcophagus, likely dating from the 1300s, not long after Notre Dame was first completed. When archaeologists inserted a small endoscopic camera inside to inspect its contents, what they saw left them astonished. Fragments of cloth, human hair, and even a pillow made of leaves beneath the head were clearly visible, an arrangement commonly used when burying high-ranking religious figures. Dr. Christophe Besnier, the lead archaeologist of the excavation, explained, "The presence of these organic materials suggests that the body is in an exceptionally well-preserved state, almost as if the person had just recently died." Experts believe the coffin's airtight lead structure shielded the remains from the effects of time, moisture, and air, preserving the body far better than would normally be possible after 7 centuries. But the lead coffin wasn't the only significant find. Archaeologists also uncovered a pit beneath the cathedral floor, likely constructed around 1230 during the original building phase of Notre Dame. The catastrophic 2019 fire had melted nearly 660,000 pounds of lead from the cathedral's roof, spreading toxic dust across the site. Yet this latest discovery has opened a new door to understanding the burial practices, religious hierarchy, and cultural history of medieval Paris. Notre Dame's tragic fire may have scarred one of the world's most iconic landmarks, but beneath its ruins, it also revealed a silent witness to 7 centuries of Parisian history, a body resting in eternal stillness, preserved as if time itself had stopped. A tomb only, 334 square feet wide, yet filled with gold. In the spring of 2000, a powerful explosion rocked Dahong Village, Changtan Town, Zhangjiang County in Hubei Province, China. Although it happened during the Chinese Lunar New Year, the sound was unlike any fireworks people had ever heard. Alarmed, villagers rushed outside, and soon the police arrived at the scene. At the source of the blast, they found a large, dark hole in the ground. The hole wasn't very deep, but beneath it lay what appeared to be an ancient tomb. The village chief immediately contacted the Provincial Cultural Heritage Bureau to report the discovery. Archaeologists were quickly dispatched, and after inspecting the site, they confirmed that it was indeed an ancient burial chamber. A rescue excavation was launched right away. At first, the dig proved challenging. The tomb's structure was unusually strong, and the team had to break through a massive stone gate to enter. However, this also meant good news. The tomb's interior was likely well preserved despite the explosion above. Their optimism soon faded when they discovered that the tomb was surprisingly small, measuring only about 334 square feet and partially flooded. The archaeologists initially believed such a small tomb wouldn't contain many burial goods, and those submerged in water were probably damaged beyond repair. It seemed the excavation might yield little of value. Still, determined to uncover the tomb's owner, the team brought in high-capacity water pumps and continued digging. Before long, they discovered a stone epitaph inside. The stele, about 3.8 feet tall, was built against the fourth wall and contained two inscriptions. One read, "Tomb of Prince Liangzhuang," and the other, "Epitaph of Princess Liangzhuang." The archaeologists were stunned. They had just uncovered the tomb of Prince Zhu Jianwei of Liangzhuang from the Ming dynasty, along with his wife. According to China's Ming history records, Prince Liangzhuang was the ninth son of Emperor Ming Renzong, the fourth emperor of the Ming dynasty. Zhu Jianwei was granted his title in the 22nd year of the Yongle reign, 1424, with his residence located in Anlu Prefecture, today's Zhongxiang, Hubei. Because he had no male heir, his princely title was later revoked. He only had two daughters, Princess Jining and Princess Ningyuan. After learning this, the archaeologists were thrilled. One of them even exclaimed, "We thought this tiny tomb would contain nothing of value. Turns out, we've hit the jackpot." Why were they so excited about Prince Liangzhuang's tomb? The answer lay in his royal status. In ancient China, people believed that death mirrors life, meaning that the afterlife was a continuation of one's earthly existence. Thus, nobles and royals were often buried with lavish treasures and everyday items for use in the afterlife. Since Prince Liangzhuang had no sons to inherit his wealth, it was likely that most of his fortune was buried with him. After draining the tomb and clearing away the mud, glittering treasures began to emerge. Gold, silver, jade, and precious stones filled every corner. Archaeologists on site described it as one of the most luxurious royal tombs they had ever seen. Despite its modest size, it contained riches rivaling those of emperors. When the inventory was completed, aside from small fragments, 5,300 valuable artifacts were cataloged. Most were made of gold, silver, jade, gemstones, and porcelain. The total weight of gem-encrusted jewelry was about 35 pounds. Silver items weighed around 29 pounds, and precious stones totaled 31 pounds. One gold ingot alone was estimated to be worth around $129,000. Over 700 gemstones, including rubies, jade, emeralds, and cat's eye stones, were used to decorate the jewelry. Among them, a 200-carat sapphire stood out as the largest ever discovered in China. Some artifacts were even imports from foreign lands, suggesting extensive trade during the Ming period. One particularly impressive piece was a gold base topped with a finely carved jadeite stone, and several gold belts inlaid with jade and dragon motifs, demonstrating the exquisite craftsmanship of Ming artisans. Experts concluded that the treasures found in Prince Liangzhuang's tomb were of national treasure status, with a total estimated value reaching into the billions of dollars, enough, they joked, to buy hundreds of modern luxury villas. This discovery was considered one of the most significant archaeological finds in China at the time, shedding new light on the wealth and lifestyle of Ming nobility. But one question remained: how could a mere prince possess a fortune rivaling that of an emperor? Archaeologists believe the reason lies in the prosperity of the Ming dynasty during his lifetime. When Emperor Ming Renzong passed away, his eldest son, Emperor Xuanzong Zhu Jianji, ascended the throne and generously rewarded his brothers. Each royal prince, such as Prince Yuejing, Prince Zhengjing, Prince Shangxian, and Prince Huaijing, received about $2 million worth of wealth, while Prince Liangzhuang was granted twice that amount. Most of his treasures were collected by Zheng He, the legendary Ming admiral and explorer who led vast maritime expeditions across the world. According to Yingyai Shenglan, the overall survey of the ocean's shores, written by Ma Huan, Zheng He's fleet brought back enormous quantities of precious gems, including emeralds, rubies, and other rare stones. That is why Prince Liangzhuang's tomb, though small in size, glittered with such incredible wealth. A miniature empire of gold buried beneath the earth for centuries. The 700-year-old tomb of a powerful Ming Dynasty eunuch in China. In March of this year, Chinese archaeologists revealed important details about an excavation carried out between July and December 2023. The excavation involved a Ming Dynasty tomb, dating from 1368 to 1644, discovered in Xinzhou, Shanxi Province, central China. The tomb's outer walls featured carved floral motifs and contained numerous precious artifacts. According to the archaeological team, the tomb's inscription helped identify its owner as Wang Luo, a eunuch who once governed the city of Xinzhou and is believed to have died in his 50s. The stele also contained moral teachings such as, those who borrow money to become rich should not be arrogant. They should change their manners and be polite when meeting people of all ages. During the excavation, archaeologists uncovered two well-preserved wooden coffins. The larger coffin, painted a golden brown color and decorated with ornate patterns, bore the inscription, entrusted by the Ming court to serve in the palace as an official. The smaller coffin was beautifully adorned with paintings of flowers, grass, and peacocks, its colors and details still vivid despite the centuries. Inside the tomb chamber, two intact niches contain ceramic vessels believed to have once stored grains and oil. In a separate room behind the main burial chamber, archaeologists found wooden furniture buried alongside the deceased. The tomb also held bowls, plates, and jars arranged in a way that suggested a ceremonial meal had taken place there before sealing the tomb. Additional artifacts included candlesticks, incense burners, pewter vessels, cups, dishes, painted wooden statues, and other ritual items. A chair within the tomb still displayed stunning golden patterns on its backrest. Archaeologists noted, the tomb is exceptionally well built, containing many well-preserved wooden funerary objects and ritual offerings. Such items are extremely rare in Xinzhou and even across Shanxi Province. This discovery may provide invaluable insights into tomb architecture, social life, and burial customs of the Ming Dynasty in this region. Eunuchs played a crucial role in Chinese history. They first appeared during the reign of Emperor Huan, 146 to 167 AD, under the Han Dynasty, which spanned both the Western Han, 202 BC to 9 AD, and Eastern Han, 25 to 220 AD periods. Throughout history, eunuchs often held significant political influence and sometimes controlled the fate of entire dynasties. At the height of their power, around 70,000 eunuchs lived within the Forbidden City during the transition from the Ming to the Qing dynasty. However, the eunuch system was eventually abolished in 1924 when Puyi, the last emperor of China, was expelled from the Forbidden City. The last known eunuch, Sun Yaoting, passed away in 1996. The excavation of Wang Luo's tomb was part of a highway construction project in Shanxi last year. During this project, archaeologists also uncovered 66 additional tombs, ranging from the Longshan culture period, 3000 to 1900 BC, to the Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1911. These remarkable finds represent some of the most significant and fascinating archaeological discoveries in recent years, shedding new light on China's long and complex history. The 9,000-year-old bitumen-covered skulls that stunned experts. During excavations at the Nahal Himar archaeological site, located in the Judean desert in southern Israel, scientists were left completely astonished when they uncovered 3 human skulls perfectly preserved beneath layers of hardened bitumen. After thorough analysis, researchers determined that these skulls dated back to around 7000 BC. Remarkably, the arid conditions of the Judean desert played a crucial role in preserving organic materials far better than in most other regions of the world. Because of this, the skulls remained in exceptional condition, especially the 3 that were coated in bitumen, which acted as a natural protective shell, shielding them from the ravages of time. According to experts, covering skulls in bitumen was likely part of an ancient ritual to honor the dead, deeply tied to the spiritual practice of ancestor worship. The preserved skulls may have represented revered ancestors or individuals who held a special place within their clan. In some cases, they might even have served as symbols of a family's claim to a particular territory. This theory aligns with the social conditions of that era, around 7000 BC during the Neolithic period, when population growth led to increased competition for land and resources. In addition to the bitumen-covered skulls, archaeologists also discovered stone masks dating back about 9,000 years, believed to be the oldest masks ever found in the world. These masks had holes along the edges, suggesting they were tied with cords to house pillars or fixed onto other surfaces. Interestingly, some masks shared similar facial structures, such as prominent cheekbones, deep eye sockets, and recessed temples, with the human skulls found nearby. This suggests that the masks were crafted to replicate the faces of the deceased, used during ceremonies honoring the dead. As humans transitioned from hunting and gathering to farming and animal domestication, they still lacked written language. To assert inheritance and land ownership, they turned to rituals that celebrated their ancestors, symbolically linking the living to the past. The creation of these stone masks was, therefore, an early form of ancestral remembrance, a way to keep the image and spirit of their forebears eternally present in their daily lives. The Cemetery of Grinning Mummies in the Peruvian Desert. In a desolate stretch of the Nazca Desert, about 19 miles from the city of Nazca, Peru, lies a strange and eerie burial ground that sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears about it. This is Chowchilla Cemetery, a haunting necropolis that holds over 1,000-year-old human remains, each with a bizarre and unsettling feature. Their jaws are wide open, frozen in eternal gaping smiles. The sight is both mysterious and deeply disturbing, inspiring countless ghost stories and legends surrounding this barren landscape. Chowchilla Cemetery is not a recent discovery. It dates back to the 9th century, during the height of the Nazca civilization, a culture famous for its enormous geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, visible only from above. Yet, by around AD 800, the Nazca mysteriously vanished. To this day, no one knows exactly why their civilization collapsed, though many scholars believe that harsh desertification and environmental change may have played a major role. The cemetery lay buried beneath the sands for centuries until it was rediscovered in the early 20th century. What archaeologists found stunned the world. Dozens of skeletons sitting upright, their backs resting against one another as if locked in a silent, eternal gathering. Scientists theorize that the ancient Nazca people may have buried their dead in seated positions as a sign of reverence or spiritual symbolism. But the strangest and most chilling detail remained: their mouths agape, giving the eerie illusion of corpses grinning from beyond the grave. Even more astonishing was the remarkable preservation of the remains. Despite lying in the desert tombs for over a millennium, many still had soft, intact hair, smooth, long, and untouched by decay. This remarkable state of preservation led researchers to believe that the locals may have used the desert's dry, scorching climate as a natural form of mummification, eliminating the need for complex embalming techniques like those used by other civilizations. Adding to the mystery, archaeologists also discovered that some of the larger, deeper tombs likely belonged to tribal leaders or individuals of high status. Sadly, many of these burial chambers had long been looted by grave robbers, who stripped away gold and precious artifacts, leaving behind only the grinning skeletons, as if mocking the greed and cruelty of those who disturbed their eternal rest. Today, Chowchilla Cemetery stands as more than just an archaeological site. It's a silent reminder of a lost civilization and one of Peru's most haunting mysteries. The eerie mummies, forever frozen in their ghastly smiles, continue to baffle scientists and captivate travelers from around the world. Why do they appear to smile even in death? No one truly knows, but perhaps it's this very blend of mystery and the macabre that makes Chowchilla such an irresistibly fascinating place, drawing not only archaeologists and historians, but also anyone intrigued by the strange, the unexplained, and the eternal whispers of the ancient desert. Tiny human bones, dating back 600 million years, found in Antarctica. Recently, 2 tiny human skeletons were discovered in the Whitmore Mountains of Antarctica, a remote, icy region that has been uninhabited for an incredibly long time. What shocked researchers the most was that, according to their analysis, these remains date back roughly 600 million years. Tiny human bones have been found in various parts of the world before, but this latest discovery adds even more weight to the mysterious possibility that beings once existed long before humanity as we know it, creatures that were thought to exist only in myths and legends. The skeletons were uncovered in the Whitmore Mountains, a place considered uninhabitable due to its extreme cold. However, the most puzzling fact about these fossils is that they predate the dinosaurs by hundreds of millions of years, long before anything resembling humans was believed to have appeared on Earth. The shape and structure of the bones clearly indicate that they belong to humans, not primates, and the completeness of the skeletons suggests they were adults, not infants. Analysis conducted deep within one of the world's deepest excavation holes also confirmed that these remains were not extraterrestrial in origin. This led scientists to speculate that an advanced civilization might have existed on Earth long before the age of the dinosaurs. The California Paleontology Museum once described this era as follows: "The fossil record of life on Earth dates back about 3.5 billion years. Most of these fossils were bacteria and microalgae. However, by the late Proterozoic eon, around 635 to 542 million years ago, according to Darwin's theory, only simple soft-bodied organisms existed in a few regions of the world. Clearly, there are many things that have been kept hidden through time for reasons we still don't understand. But now, more and more of these mysteries are being uncovered, allowing us to see the world's past in an entirely new light." Researchers in Washington, D.C. are expected to begin further investigations soon. If we strictly follow Darwin's theory of evolution, these tiny humans would have to be supernatural beings, existing only in fairy tales. Yet, growing evidence from around the world suggests they might have been real. As mentioned, this is not the only case. Numerous artifacts and remains associated with tiny human-like beings have been found globally. For example, in 2003, in an abandoned town in Chile's Atacama Desert, a man named Oscar Munoz discovered a bizarre miniature skeleton measuring just about 5 inches long. The remains were later examined at Stanford University, and the results showed that this tiny mummy was neither fake nor that of a fetus. Instead, it belonged to an unknown species of miniature humans with several strange biological features. Earlier, in 1932, while mining for gold in the San Pedro Mountains of Wyoming, 2 men named Cecil Main and Frank Carr uncovered the mummified remains of a small-statured human. Based on the mummy's size and structure, scientists speculated it may have belonged to a tribe of little people that once lived in North America. Then, in 2005, another tiny mummy about 10 inches tall was found near Makunik, an ancient settlement within the city of Shahdad, Kerman Province, Iran. Smugglers attempted to sell it in Germany for 80 billion Iranian rials, about $2.5 million. The news of their arrest and the strange mummy's discovery spread rapidly throughout Kerman. Following this, the Kerman Cultural Heritage Department and local police examined the remains and determined that they belonged to a 17-year-old adult. Makunik, also known as Shahari Kotuleha, or the City of Dwarfs, existed around 5,000 years ago, but was later lost to time until its rediscovery in 1946. Perhaps these discoveries raise serious questions about Darwin's theory of evolution, and may even hint at the existence of supernatural or unknown beings that we once believed only existed in imagination, or in tales like Arabian Nights. What about you? Do you think the same as I do? The Giant Skull Tower of the Aztecs. In the heart of modern-day Mexico City, where the pulse of the 21st century beats through every bustling street, a blood-soaked mystery is slowly being unearthed beneath layers of concrete and asphalt. It's an ancient structure known as Huitzilopochtli, the Great Skull Tower, and its discovery has brought chilling fragments of the Aztec Empire's dark and sacred past back into the light. The story begins near Templo Mayor, the most sacred temple of the Aztecs, located in the center of Tenochtitlan, the capital of their once mighty empire, today's Mexico City. Since excavations began in 2015, archaeologists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, INAH, have uncovered stacked layers of human skulls, cemented together with lime mortar, forming a massive, terrifyingly intricate structure. So far, they have counted at least 676 skulls, and the number continues to rise with every dig. But why would the Aztecs build something so horrifying? According to historians and archaeologists, this was part of the Huitzilopochtli, a gigantic skull tower that shocked Spanish conquistadors when they first saw it in the early 16th century during their conquest of Tenochtitlan. The tower was constructed to honor Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war and the sun, the ultimate symbol of life, death, and cosmic balance in their belief system. In these sacred rituals, captured warriors were decapitated, and their skulls were mounted on the tower as offerings to the gods, a symbol of reverence and a plea for divine protection over the empire. But what astonished researchers the most was not just the scale of the structure, it was who the skulls belonged to. Contrary to earlier assumptions that all victims were male warriors of fighting age, new analyses revealed that many skulls belonged to women and children. This revelation completely upends previous understanding of Aztec sacrificial rituals, raising haunting new questions. Could the Aztecs have performed sacrifices that were broader, more complex, and far more terrifying than we ever imagined? The structure itself is circular, about 20 feet in diameter and several meters high, standing solemnly at the heart of the temple grounds. Hundreds of skulls gaze outward in every direction, their hollow eye sockets set in lime, their expressions frozen in a silent, eternal prayer to unseen gods. More than a symbol of power, the skull tower stands as a testament to the Aztec worldview, a reflection of their intense devotion and their unique philosophy of life and death. To the Aztecs, death was not the end, but a transformation, a passage through which the soul merged with the cosmos, human blood nourished the gods, and the sun could continue to rise each day. These discoveries have given us a deeper understanding of the Aztec civilization, which dominated much of Central America from the 14th to the 16th centuries, renowned for its monumental architecture, intricate social hierarchy, and symbolic rituals of human sacrifice. But this leads to an even more difficult question. Was this brutality pure savagery? Or was it a profound expression of faith, an ultimate act of devotion to their gods and their cosmic order? What do you think about using human skulls as religious ornamentation? Is it barbaric, or an act of sacred dedication, reflecting a worldview we can no longer comprehend? These skulls are no longer just macabre relics from legend. They are living evidence, a haunting message from the past, reminding us that history is never simple. And you, as a witness of the modern age, do you have the courage to look straight into the truths being unearthed from the soil, from a world where life and death once intertwined in one of humanity's most haunting rituals? You see, what you've just witnessed is only a tiny glimpse of the countless mysteries our Earth still hides beneath its surface. Every ancient site, every artifact that's uncovered has the power to completely reshape how we understand human history. Yet at the same time, each discovery raises new questions that continue to baffle and challenge scientists around the world. What do you think about these discoveries? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming journeys into the world's greatest mysteries. For now, goodbye, and we'll see you in the next exploration.